Hello, my name is Samuel Dergel, and welcome to the DERGEL Executive Network Podcast with Liz Ahmed. The title for today is The Strategic Rise of the CHRO, Driving Growth, Talent, and the Future of Work. And we have to get that done in 20 minutes. Goodness. How do you feel about that, Liz?
I think that's a big assignment, so we probably should jump right in.
Liz Ahmed is the Chief People Officer at Unum. I've had the opportunity to know Liz for a long time. She is a solid, experienced, insightful people leader, and we're very excited to have her on the call with us today. So let's set the stage. Over the last years, there's been a shift in the CHRO role and the value that CHROs bring to the table. Tell me what you think has been going on. What's been your perspective as a front row viewer and participant on this?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you, Samuel. I am absolutely delighted to be here today. So I lead the People and Communications Group at Unum. We are a Fortune 500 provider of employee benefits and workplace solutions. So, I really think we are at the forefront of being able to have a little bit of that insight view. And one of the reasons for that, because, we, as part of the HR organization, we are the client. And that's what I think gives us at Unum a little bit of that perspective. And so if I were to go back to your question around setting the stage, I think it's, the pandemic, right? We started to see that was a catalyst that really drove the people organization to be at the center of transformation. Now, I would argue that for a lot of really great HR organizations that they already were at the beginning of that. But for those that maybe were not able or were at the beginning of that conversation, it really was the beginning. And in HR organizations, CHROs have become central to many items, but I would say, business continuity, another workforce resilience. I mean, boy, did we figure out how important that was. Organization agility. You have to manage every aspect of a rapidly changing workforce, which I think is happening again to us with AI transformation, but we can talk about that again in a minute, maybe. And so it really reinforced the need for that deep integration of the C-suite, and those HR organizations that were able to use that opportunity to embed with their CEOs and their board to really have that conversation around what was going on with the pandemic, and their business strategy, and use that to help shape decisions around their workforce models, well-being, and digital transformations, were able to use that at the beginning of that catalyst. And I think for me, we were already on that journey. That's why I'm forever grateful to have that support and be part of the conversation. And I'm able to sit alongside our CEO and our business leaders. And that proximity, though, I think, Samuel, has changed the nature of the influence of these roles. And I'd like to think that we are now, if we weren't before, we think we were, but if we weren't, there's been an opportunity to be that co-architect of growth of an organization. But with that comes a changed expectation of what we do as a profession, right? We are expected to lead with empathy, but act with speed. We have to balance the people-centric approach with a business impact. And so that's what I think has changed in the last few years.
Right. So I think that really leads us directly into the next topic. Talent is a driver of business outcomes. What have you seen? How has that played out in your experience?
Yeah, I'm probably not any different to a lot of organizations. It starts with talent. It appears, as a core lever in lots of different places in terms of our enterprise strategy. And it's on our growth map and woven throughout. But it's not just about filling those roles anymore. It's about shaping the future of the company. I think we've really seen the rapid technology change, right? We talked a little already about AI, automation, digital platforms. Those are fundamentally reshaping the skills that we need for success. We know that certainly at Unum, data literacy, dexterity, the adaptability of our employees are becoming just core requirements. When we're balancing that with, the human-centric capabilities that we need, and those are becoming, obviously very valuable, and we need employees as our talent levels are very balancing both of those are really important. And we're at Unum having to really think about what that tomorrow's workforce is, along with a lot of other organizations. And we're having to make sure that we're building a skill-based organization. And we're actually currently piloting some important validation of skills, right? And aligning that business need with the fact that it's not just enough to have that skills, because every HR organization is talking about we need to be a skills-based organization. That's great. But what do we need to do to make sure that we're actually validating? Actually, we were just at HR Tech Conference, and we're doing that in partnership with Workday, right? So we're leveraging the platforms that we have, and we're really knowing that the talent conversations that we're talking about today are going to directly influence for us the product development, the customer experience, and the growth strategy. So we know that talent is important, but we have to look around the corner as to what's happening, not just today, but really 2, 3, 4 years from now.
Thank you for sharing that. You're in an envious position in an organization where, yes, you are in charge of the people side of the business and supporting your CEO in that. But you're also supporting the business because the company product is sold to HR. So
That's
talk
right.
about how you support the customer side.
Yeah, so it is a really unique part of what we do. So we like to talk about the fact that we're kind of customer zero, and it's a balance for us, right? So I have that unique position as the CHRO because we are the leading provider of employee benefits and HR solutions, and I do that not only for an 11,000, 12,000 person enterprise. We're often the first users of those products and services. So we use this term customer zero. And so we pilot those platforms. We use Unum Behavioral Health. We use Unum Total Leave, which is, at the forefront of leave products for every single HR person listening to this podcast. Hopefully, it's gonna resonate how complicated the leave landscape is, and it's only getting more complicated. And so, one of the things that makes my team unique is we're using those products, but we're refining those product offerings alongside the people that are not only using it, but with the people designing those products, right? And within the people organization, we're collaborating with our customer experience teams, our product teams, our operations teams. We test, we learn, we even, like I say, we co-create. We make sure that the functions that we have are the ones that HR organizations need, because I need it, we need it. After all, we are the client. And so when I'm sitting in a room, and I do this often, I find that we're actually able to provide real world insights that make our offerings, stronger and, quite frankly, more credible. And it's a model that blends that kind of HR, technology, and experience through design, and it's repeatable. But more importantly, Samuel, I really think it's it's credible. And when we say that our solutions work, it's because we live them every single day with our own employees, and our own employees are the best testers of making sure that what we put out are the best products. And so we know it's not just designed in a lab. It's real, and it makes it really important. And I can sit across the table and have that conversation, HR person to HR person.
I imagine that in trying to bring on leaders into the HR organization, you have a unique selling proposition that says to potential talent and top talent, that says, not only will you work in a top level organization, but you will have an ability to be part of product. How many people can say that?
Very little, right? It's one of the things that I think is most exciting is, and I actually do this, we do this a lot, right? Is that not only do they have a career path within our own organization, and we have a large organization, but they often have the ability to have a commercial influence, and there's very little opportunity to be able to do that. And then interestingly, when some of my team are out at conferences or at product, we get invited to be there, and we're talking to other HR organizations. We find that other people are not necessarily leveraging their HR products the same way. And so it's a very credible and exciting career path, because, we all know that, HR can be viewed as an overhead, an expense. And here we are in the room actually creating the opportunity to influence the outcome. And one of our Unum values is focus on the customer. And what better way to do that than being part of the solution of making sure that we provide the best opportunity for our clients to be successful, because we know that we use it, and it's the best out there. And so it's exciting to be able to have that conversation. And it matters from whether you are the talent acquisition people or whether you are designing the HR tech, because all of that is an ecosystem that makes it work. So it's really exciting, but very unique.
Very unique. The ability to contribute to sales and growth of the organization, as a partner in the business.
What I think is
Commercial
unique
side.
is not just that we do it, but our sales and our product and our customer experience and our executives invite us into the conversation, because we need that, right? It's great that we're good at it, but we're invited in. So it takes both sides, not just us, but it takes our company wanting us at the table as well.
So let's talk about competitive advantage. You're competing for talent, and you're competing for the best talent that's out there. What's your advantage in the broader organization to be able to bring in top talent?
Well, besides the fact that we are the client, and we are able to really provide our clients with the best product out there, we've really gone at this from an employee experience being a strategic asset to us, because it's not just about engagement. We believe it's about retention that produces productivity. We believe it's about kind of brand advocacy. And we've really built a group that is about dedicated employee experience that is helping us connect that experience across functions. Often employee experience teams can be just kind of a HR function, but we have linked that ecosystem from HR to legal to technology to facilities and real estate, right? And so we all own a piece of that. And that level of alignment is needed, we think, to create that highly engaged, holistic workforce. And so it crosses those lines of org design, right? It doesn't belong to HR. It belongs to all of us, and the same is true if you think about something like our well-being strategy. Yes, it's physical, mental health, financial wellness, it's caregiver support, and so those programs again stretch across an ecosystem of the whole person. And so when we think about experience or return to the office, we're about breaking down those different silos, and thinking about it. And we see it in our well-being scores, our engagement scores, our
Right.
retention, right? Because we're going at this from an experience design, and that's kind of part of our innovation cycle. So everything we do is from informing a platform, right? So we start beginning to end in terms of a journey, and we
Mhm.
think about it from the lens of the experience whenever we deliver anything. And we really just think that and believe, and the numbers will prove out that there's a clear business case when you prioritize employee experience. We believe it improves, and we can measure the business outcome. We can link the employee engagement to stronger customer satisfaction. We can make sure that we have the ability to align people. We can have the right process and culture aligning to the goals across the organization. And that really just then fulfills on our purpose of helping the working world thrive throughout life's moments. So we believe the employee experience gives us that strategic advantage, and can link it directly to the overall success of the organization.
It certainly sounds so. Now, we've gone into the organization, we've gone into what you've been able to accomplish and get done. Let's move out to 30, 40,000 feet beyond just Unum. What reflections and advice do you have for the people leaders and other business leaders that are listening to this podcast today?
So I would say that CEOs and boards and the people that I chat to, and there's a lot of people out there that do what I do, but what I see that's resonating today is about being strategic. CHROs being data fluent, being data driven. You have to be able to speak that language, but you have to do it by being deeply human. And there's never been more time than right now when you think about emerging technology. This is the moment that you have to be able to balance that. The best CHROs are not just the culture stewards of the organization, they're business architects, and they're growth accelerators. And smart organizations, as we said at the beginning, are the ones that know that HR is going to embed in their products, in their growth, in their transformation conversations, not just their talent in HR transformation, right? That's just table stakes now, right? That they're going to be driving talent in HR. But the right HR organizations are going to be at the forefront of the growth strategy of an organization. And I think about the future of HR is about clarity, it's about speed, and it's about how do you measure impact. And as that work continues to evolve, Samuel, I really think that CHROs, if they're not already, are going to be central to shaping not just the culture, but the business impact and strategy of where an organization is going in the future.
Great. Wow, that certainly covers a lot, and I appreciate that. I know that we can talk about this for a very, very long time,
Good.
and when we get together in person, I'm sure we will. Um, but this is a part of the podcast that we always ask our guests to ask me a question,
Okay.
um, and so I and I'm not prepared, so
Okay.
you can ask me anything, and I hope I have something smart to be able to contribute.
Yeah, so I would love to get your perspective. You know, you have a front row seat in how C-suite roles are evolving. And
Mhm.
what's something that surprised you about how CEO and boards are now viewing their CHRO relationships?
So I'm going to step out to beyond CHRO.
Okay.
I think when CEOs and boards are hiring, um, data is there, but it's still personal. It's still about how the CEO feels about the executive that's going to be working for them. It's how about the board members individually and the group dynamics behind it, about how they feel about this person. It still is and will continue to be, and I think even more so, be about trust. Because in an era where what you see on screen may or may not be true, and where ChatGPT will give you answers that may or may not be true, um, can we trust the people to understand what needs to get done, to work well together, and accomplish the business objectives? Um, I think in a world where AI is beginning to permeate everything, in the leadership level of the business, more and more it's going to be everything but the technology. Now, the technology will enable it, but really, ultimately, it's going to be more personal. It's going to be more trust-based, and more the ability to engage and inspire the people in the organization to accomplish the corporate objectives. Um, I see it even more so in the coming years.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much, Liz, for the opportunity to pick your brain and share it with our audience. I've always enjoyed speaking with you, and thank you so much for taking the time today to share your thoughts. Looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Cornerstone, DERGEL Cornerstone, DERGEL Executive Network Podcast by DERGEL Cornerstone.